Fig fam, how are we? Figs and coffee. Summertime! And everything is bustling. I've had some busy weeks recently. May has been quite the month, so I'm glad I can get out here and chat with you guys, see the garden, get everything up to speed, because I have fig trees for sale. You haven't grabbed any yet, and they look beautiful. Check it out. Boom! You can see everything's tiered for things that are ready to things that are not, based on the sunlight exposure that it gets. This is my nursery high tunnel. I'm going to walk backwards so you can see. But I have 40% shade cloth that runs across this high tunnel that I got on Amazon. If you're curious about the shade cloth and you're curious about the high tunnel, check out my Amazon store. I just put everything that I use on there, so it makes it easy for you guys to search, say, what is Phil using? He's using these materials. Even if it's nice and expensive, even if it's affordable, these are the things that have worked for me. And I will continue to like undulate and change that over time as they become more conducive or find something better to replace what is already existing out there. But to help you guys grow fig trees, I put everything out there. You can still reach out to me with questions. I'm here to help you grow fig trees. I'm here to help you grow fruit trees. I'm here to help you garden. So like, subscribe, let's get this thing going. Let's garden in your backyard space. I have a full-on plant nursery back here. And today I want to talk about, if someone gets a fig tree from me, how it's shipped. And the reason this came about, I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. There's a rich Italian culture in Philadelphia area, and there's the Italian Garden Project that I love to follow, right? It's all about inspiring gardening in small spaces. And someone on there showed off their fig tattoo. And so when I saw her fig tattoo and her passion for figs in the Philadelphia area, I said, how can I get her a fig tree? And so I had been growing this one that's relatively cold hardy. It's Norella. I found out about Norella from Ross Fig Boss. So shout out to Ross, who's also in the Philadelphia area. And I had propagated this from my mother tree, which is right here, beautifully pruned. If you can see it amongst the other trees, it's setting fruit all along here. And it is a beautiful Mount Etna type fig. When we say Mount Etna, that is if you've ever heard of Hardy Chicago, if you've ever heard of Marseille Black VS or Azores Dark, they have these beautiful, and I'm going to turn you around, club-like leaves. And I say like club-like from like a deck of cards. They have these beautiful ornate lobes, and they kind of, rather than a point on the end, like you could see here on my Godfather fig, they have these more oak-like leaves that are club-shaped. And that's really indicative of what we call the Mount Etna types or Hardy Chicago types. And they are exceptionally cold hardy. They can die back to the ground every year, and they can produce fruit on that new growth quickly and early. And they say they're the Mount Etna types, right? Let me flip your back around. Because they grew on the mountainside of Mount Etna in Sicily, where it's exceptionally cold as you get up to that snow-peaked volcano. But we were all trying to find a generalized term that we could use to distinguish a lot of these fig types. Not necessarily the fig variety, but a type with that overarches that entire variety. So fig leaf patterns are very distinctive on certain types of figs, right? You have your Dalmaties or your Stellas, you have your Mount Etna types that we just went over, and then you have ones that like your cherry cordial that have single lobe leaves, and that actually is indicative of maybe genes in the Ficus palmata family. But then you can also have more tri-lobed or single-lobed ones, like my Figo Preto here. Fig leaves play a role in defining the variety, but when fig trees are young, they can have a variance in the fig leaf pattern. So you're looking for that mature fig leaf shape. Here's another one. This is Triana calabrese, which is very similar to a Triana type figs, right? Or Canadria or things like that. So they have more of a deeper lobe, not quite to the pronounced lobes of like a Stella, which is right here, which is stunning. Look at that. Beautiful leaves, so finger-light. Marseille white is like that too, but despite both having very finger-like leaves, they have very different figs. So the fig leaf isn't necessarily going to discern the type of fruit you're going to get, but it is one defining characteristic on your path there. Now I digress. So let's back up again. Oh, quick look. ADHD, look at all these nectarines, guys. Oh yeah, beautiful nectarines. This is a flame-kissed nectarine tree. And to complement it, I have this Red Haven peach, which is still young, but it's in its second year, so I'm letting it hold on to a few fruits because the thing is delicious, if you can get one. Now, coming back, I have this beautiful rooted fig cutting. As you can see, it wasn't a super thick cutting, and that's not necessarily needed. It got some sunburnt of all things because it was in the high tunnel, in the greenhouse when I propagated it and I'm moving it out to full sun. But it took off so well. So when figs hit their stride, they hit their stride. So I'm actually gonna pack this one up and I'm gonna show you how I pack fig trees in case you're wondering on shipping a fig tree to a friend or family member, but check with your ag extension on the rules on that. And since I have a plant nursery license, I can ship to all the states, but I have to check the regulations, work with your local ag representative on what you can and cannot ship. I do a once a year inspection, which is really important for disease management. I track a lot of my fig rust exposures where I treat it with copper fungicide, which is an organic option. I look at a lot of pests where I have to be very cognizant of fire ants and things like that. So being a certified nursery helps me hedge my success for all of you as gardeners and the greater health of agriculture here in the United States. So do your due diligence first, and then once you have that, I can then feel comfortable shipping fig trees around. And today, I am going to send this fig tree to, now I would even consider a friend who has a place in Philadelphia rich with Italian history. She's getting this nice Norella fig, Mount Etna hardy type fig for up in the Northeast that will do great. It's technically from the Calabria region of Italy, but Mount Etna varieties originate from all over as strains were traded throughout time. And she's gonna have her own fig tree in Philadelphia to complement that fig tattoo, which is too cool. So shout out to her, shout out to the Italian Garden Project, and I am gonna show you guys how I pack this fig tree and how it's gonna make it there safely. To the shipping center. Welcome to the Phil's Figs Shipping Center. So I put a towel out on my surfboard that also doubles as a shipping table, so I don't get the surf wax on any of my equipment. Even though it's nice, healthy, organic material surf wax that smells really good, it's not for gardening, for fig trees per se. So I try to keep it clean with a fresh beach towel. So then I have all my boxes, right? So I do have a shipping center. If you guys have gotten cuttings from me in the past, these are where I keep my envelopes for shipping cuttings. And down here are my boxes that I generally hold for if you have a large purchase of cuttings. I can put a boxing of cuttings together, or I can put hats, t-shirts, material in these. However, when I'm shipping fig trees, I use some really good bamboo stakes, and they are in here. But I use bamboo stakes. I wrap them with a plastic bag for keeping moisture in and retained. And I have this awesome tape tool that I didn't think I was gonna need until I was shipping 10s, 20s, 100 boxes. And this was extremely crucial in the success of getting those shipments out. So that was huge. And with 1 gallon containers, these are typically 6 inches by 6 inches. I actually worked out really well. Unless I have a tree pot, I'm not using these longer, narrow ones. But the larger trees, I'm actually using a nice 6 inch by 6 inch shipping container that I'm gonna tape together. And I have different heights for different measurements of the fig trees, and then I cut down the bamboo stakes to fit them into container. But if you order fig trees from me, this is how I ship them. So I'm gonna back you guys up, I'm gonna assemble it, and my voice over when I'm assembling, but it's gonna look really cool. And we're gonna put a nice, safe, and snug fig tree in a container to ship anywhere from up and down the country to across the country, coast to coast. I like these long-wise boxes, so if I ship 2 fig trees at a time, I can put them facing each other and overlap with the bubble wrap on the inside. Trying to get the right angle so you guys can see, but you can see here I have these 2 bamboo shoots that are nice and dry that one day I'll just grow my own, and I'm going to associate them with the length of the box. And if you go about a ½ inch shorter, that's fine because they're going into the plant itself. One and 2. See how it's just a little bit short of it? That's okay with me because it's going into the potted fig. Because I'm using smaller bamboo shoots, I'm gonna use 2. If I have larger ones, sometimes I'll just use 1. And this is essentially the scaffolding that I'm going to put in the box to keep the plant from going back and forth and getting smushed. It's going to protect the space above it. And you want it to kind of sprung out a little bit because it's going to hold the sides and corners of the box and hold the plant in place. And then I'm going to wrap it around. And I'm going to put these back in 1 second. This is soil and moisture control. It's just a plastic bag, guys, but it works wonders and does a great job. And if you already have them, I'm secondary using them. So I'm going to reuse bags that I've had at the grocery store, and I find them to work really well rather than doing a bunch of tape and things. Sometimes if I'm worried if it's shipping a really long distance, I'll put a wet paper down here, keep it nice and wet and moist, and kind of water it throughout its transportation life cycle. But since this is only going to Pennsylvania, it'll probably be 3 days in shipping total. It's really nice, moist soil. It's going to be okay. What I'm doing is I'm taping this down so this can't fall apart in transit. I want it nice and snug. And I've learned how to ship figs. I've made plenty of mistakes. So, you know, something that I like to do, and I'm showing you guys, is I would observe plant packages that I bought from other plant nurseries, seeing how they do it, seeing how invasive or like how structured their systems are, because you can pack something to survive, you know, a nuclear fallout, but it might not be conducive to your time if you're shipping a lot of plants. So this is for all the small plant nurseries out there. So what I'm going to do now, and this is how you get your plants. If you want to see how the plant's being shipped from me, this is how I do it. Now I'm just going to do a simple tape around the base here, where I want it to be still taped along the structure of the pot, because you don't want that to move too much in transit. You can use a little more tape is okay, but you don't want to use too much because then it loses its structural integrity. So you want to be strategic, like taping things at angles, taping things on hardened structures like the container itself, so it's just not floating there. Otherwise, it's a moot point. So I want to make sure I can put it in there nice and easily. I've got it taped down. I have very limited space in the middle here, and that way soil's not going to spill out if it falls over, if it gets jostled, and it's still a clean space. Perfect. I know that this fig tree will fit in this box because it is lower than the stakes themselves, which is the length of the box. So when I go to put it in, and this is the best part about 6-inch 1-gallon pots into 6-inch long containers, that I like to get the sideways ones. So I pay, you know, 20 cents more a box or whatever it is to get something that fits easily. And if I ever do 2 fig trees, I can get them 2 in 1 box by pointing one the other way, and it connects with this here. But look at that, it fits in nice and snug. And then I'm going to put bubble wrap, which I'll do on the ground. But I wanted to show you from a vertical standpoint, this is how the fig trees get shipped. So now that I know it fits nicely in there, I'm going to be extra careful. Remember, these are babies. And I actually told people I've been holding off on shipping fig trees because I wanted them to be strong enough root systems to survive the jostle of any transit, especially if it's across the country. But now I have this green bubble wrap. I like the big bubbles. I can use paper material. I can use bubble wrap. I reuse materials when I buy things and keep it out here, whether it's the large bubble wraps, whether it's the paper, whether it's a conglomerate of all the options. And so I am going to lay it in here safely. It's resting on the bubbles on that side, and I can actually do that on the bottom on this side. And I'll do 3 across. I'm actually going to add these bubbles so they work perfectly. It's snug, it's wrapped, and guess what? You can see that it's starting to pass the upside down test. All right, Fig fam. So if you have a purchase from me, you'll get a shipping packing slip that I use a lot for shipping the fig trees. And that will go in here with a bag. Generally, I'll throw in some business cards, or if I have stickers, I'll throw them in just to keep the Fig fam alive and well. And then I'm actually throwing in a hat here. You guys know me, like if you get enough trees and stuff from me, I always like to throw in some swag. These hats are awesome. I wear them all the time. It was a lot of research that went into the logo, pretty rad, but I wanna make sure it all fits cozy, that you're not smushing the fig tree. So see how I'm putting it down gently, just snug. But that fits in just nicely. It passed the upside down test, which is crucial. And I do a little extra across the top in case that tape breaks for whatever reason. So this is the right side up. You can feel it is, but it's upside down. Approved by Phil. I want to make sure these trees get to you nicely and safely. And when they wake up, I want you to put them in a semi-sunny area, let them transition out from however long the journey was, right? And let them get acclimated. But what I use is I go on USPS, I have a business account with them, and they are really helpful for me to get shipping rates that are discounted for all of you guys. You guys pay for shipping and handling because I'm doing the materials, the packing, and the shipping label themselves. So that's kind of what you get to ensure that your fig tree is getting there safely. I've gone through a lot of iterations on how to get fig trees out. I'm curious if any of you guys are selling fig trees or selling fruit trees or gardening and selling plants, how you guys ship them. This is how I do it. So hopefully this is helpful for you guys. But that's how I pack up a fig tree, and then I go to my local USPS and I drop it off there. As you guys can see, I have a limited, albeit large amount of fig trees for sale. Not all of these are ready to be shipped yet. When they're young and still growing, like this little tiny Smith, it is vastly different than this white Madeira #1. This thing is still growing. In fact, it just put out these 2 new little leaves. I didn't even think it was gonna make it, but it did. White Madeira #1, this is a tall enough tree that I'm comfortable to ship with you guys. These are the best fig varieties in the world. So they have a higher price point, but what you get in return will be the best figs you will have ever tasted. In fact, a lot of people, when I talk about white Madeira #1 or Smith, is when I give it to them, I said, I will wait for when you message me on how good this fig is. It's worth the wait, it's worth the growth, and it's worth the investment. So if you guys have questions on fig varieties, if you guys have questions on propagating, if you guys have questions on shipping figs and getting into the fig world, I highly recommend it. It's such a gateway fruit tree to the gardening world. You'll get fruit within the first 3 years, and even as soon as the first year in a lot of cases with healthy varieties. They're beautiful, they're ornate, they have rich history, they're healthy for you as a fruit, and I'm here to help you grow them. Guys, if this was helpful for you, like, subscribe, reach out with questions. Let me hear how your growing season's going. If you guys are curious on getting fig trees from me, check out philsfigs.com, where I have a supply, and I will be updating that monthly as trees grow and mature and get ready for shipping, where they get to this size and I can get them out to you guys. I do have some varieties that I grew in these 4x9 tree pots, like this Paradiso Gene right here. That is essentially the same as a 1-gallon tree, but you'll probably up pot them sooner when they get a little taller. And I always look for roots coming out the bottom, which this is starting to get now too. Cheers, fig fam.